चल हो जा शुरू।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
All right, let's start off with the top focus story then. It is the cancellation of the NET exam. The Education Ministry has cancelled the exam following indications that the integrity of the exam was compromised. In fact, a new date for the examination is yet to be announced by the ministry. The decision note comes amid the bid to ensure the highest level of transparency and sanctity in the examination process. In fact, note the National Testing Agency had conducted the exam on 18th of June in pen and paper mode across different states.
However, on June 19, the University Grants Commission received inputs from the National Cybercrime Threat Analytics Unit of the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center under the Ministry of Home Affairs. These inputs suggest that the exam's integrity might have been compromised. In response, the Ministry of Education has decided to cancel the exam and conduct a fresh one. The matter has been handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation for a thorough investigation in this case.
Well, absolutely. Additionally, the SFI Delhi State Committee will also hold a protest against the cancellation at the Ministry of Education at 2 p.m. So yes, showdown is expected. But that being said, Shivangi, the fate of 9 lakh students hangs in the balance. Let's go across to Riyanka, who's joining us with the details on that. Riyanka, to begin with, explain to us why has the exam been cancelled and the kind of probe that's been initiated by the Central Bureau of Investigation into the alleged irregularities.
Right, see, let's first clear the air. It is not the NET examination that has been cancelled. It is the UGC-NET examinations that has been called off now. The examinations were held on the 18th of June, and on the 19th, the center had received certain inputs from the Cybercrime Threats Analytics Unit regarding certain, issues during the examinations that would affect the integrity of these exams, which is why the center has taken this particular step of cancelling these examinations. Now remember, this examination cancellation of the UGC-NET comes at a time when there is a massive furor amongst the students regarding the UG-NET examinations, regarding the conduction and declaration of its results and alleged malpractices and irregularities during these examinations. And now what we see in terms of the UGC-NET, the government has said that the examinations will be reconvened. It will be held once again for the students because there were some defaults that were found during the conduction of the examination, but the date has not yet been finalized. It will be announced. On the other hand, if we talk about the protest that will be held in the national capital today, the JNUSU and the SFI, both of these student unions will be holding a massive protest today at the Shastri Bhavan regarding all these issues that have been currently found, and NTA finds itself into a position of setback. Now it is yet to be seen whether the NTA will go ahead and cancel or reconduct the NET examinations. That is the big question, which is why all of these issues have been currently dealt with. The government is very clear. It has told the NTA that if there has been any irregularities found on the part of the NTA in terms of the NET examinations, then strict action must be taken. It has also asked, certain details from what irregularities happened at the Bihar unit regarding the release of, regarding the leak of the, question papers, and also in terms of the grace marking that has been taken care of. So all these deliberations are being taken place. We have to wait and see what happens next in regards of the NET exams. But for now, the UGC-NET stands cancelled.
All right, thank you, Riyanka, for getting us all the details. We'll keep a very close eye on the story. So this is a very big update coming in, and to clarify to our viewers, this is the UGC-NET exam and not the NET exam, which that matters also at the Supreme Court. Let's move ahead, viewers, to the other stories we're tracking. A big MSP boost for farmers. The government has raised minimum support price for paddy by 5.35%, increasing it to Rs 117. to 2,300 per quintal for 2024-25 Kharif marketing season. Now, despite having surplus rice stocks, this hike is striking as it comes ahead of elections in states like Haryana, Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Delhi. Information Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav announced that the cabinet approved the MSP for 14 Kharif crops based on recommendations from the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices.
Well, absolutely, Shivangi. So indeed, very good news for the farmers across the country. But let's tell our viewers in bullet points what this means. MSP has been hiked for 14 Kharif crops. MSP for paddy has been hiked by 117 rupees per quintal. MSP for pulses has been hiked by 550 rupees per quintal. In fact, let's once again listen into that statement that's coming from the government on the MSP hike for the farmers.
In today's cabinet also, one very important decision has been taken regarding the welfare of farmers. खरीफ सीजन स्टार्ट हो रहा है. खरीफ सीजन के लिए 14 क्रॉप्स पे मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस आज कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव किया है. मैं इन प्राइसेस के बारे में पढ़ूंगा, उससे पहले आई विल गिव द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. इन द 2018 यूनियन बजट, the government of India had given a very clear policy decision, had taken a very clear policy decision that MSP कम से कम 1.5 गुना होनी चाहिए कॉस्ट की. It has to be at least 1.5 times the cost of production. तो आज के जो फैसले आप देखेंगे, इन सब फैसलों में इस प्रिंसिपल को ध्यान रखा गया है. Every crop that I am going to read out will have at least 50% more MSP compared to the cost. और कॉस्ट को निकालने का भी बहुत ही साइंटिफिक तरीका है. इसका एक मैकेनिज्म है. CACP के द्वारा देश भर में कई तहसीलों में, कई जिलों में, कई विलेजेस में जाके स्टडी किया जाता है. कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन सारे फैक्टर्स को लेके स्टडी किया जाता है. तो इसके आधार पर आज जो MSP डिक्लेयर हुई है वो है धान. सबसे पहले धान का नया MSP, पैडी का नया MSP खरीफ के लिए 2,300 रुपीज डिक्लेयर किया गया है, विच इज 117 रुपीज इंक्रीमेंट ओवर द प्रीवियस MSP. आप इसको 2,300 को अगर आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखना चाहोगे, दैट इज अगर 2013-14 का जो प्राइस था, दैट प्राइस वाज 1,310 रुपीज, 1,310. यानी कहाँ 1,310 था और कहाँ आज 2,300 है. किस तरह से किसान भाइयों के लिए, किसान परिवारों के लिए प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और सरकार का हमेशा एक स्पेशल फोकस रहता है, ये इसको दर्शाता है.
All right, so Ashwini Vaishnav giving us a breakdown of the hike in MSP prices. Let's go across to Gopi. She's she's joining us with more details on that. Gopi, in bullet points, if you can tell us how are the farmer groups responding to the hike in MSP prices, one, and how is the government essentially planning to bear the additional cost when it comes to the hike in MSP prices?
Well, in fact, Samiksha, when you talk about the decision which was taken in the crucial meet that had happened yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the best news was this, that yes, they have increased the MSP, and in fact MSP has been the long-standing demand of farmers, and they have been doing nationwide protests. They had even done protests earlier this year. So definitely farmers are ecstatic, and I am sure they are going to take this decision in a very positive manner. Like the union minister also said that this was indeed a clear policy decision which was taken in 2018, wherein they had decided that 1.5% of the total cost of production that would become the MSP. So this becomes interesting and significant as it also comes before the assembly elections which will be held later this year in Haryana, Jharkhand and Maharashtra. Now, we must understand that PM Modi, while sitting on the first day in his office in the third term, the first paper, in fact, the first document that he signed in the third tenure was that of signing the 17th installment of PM Kisan Awas Yojana. So this becomes important that yes, for him, farmers are an essential and core to the society for whom he has been taking these decisions. While we'll have to wait and watch what kind of reactions we are getting from the Farmers Union, as it was last night 7:30 that we had received this news. And yes, a government definitely would be implementing this in this Kharif season. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Senator Hakim Kharif, MSP, by a significant percentage. Thank you, Gopi, for getting at those details. I will be coming back to you as we get more updates on the story. Let's move ahead to the other stories we're tracking. Grave allegations have come in, and some from very serious people, including lawyers and journalists. An NGO called Safe Culture, Save Bharat has raised concerns over the content on platforms like Netflix and X. They come with the opinion that the said content emerges as a threat to Indian sensitivities and our overall ethos.
Well, and let's also tell our viewers, Shivangi, that these are the very platforms that are easily accessible and available to young children. They have also been accused of promoting adult content. The question is, has OTT become a camouflage for promoting pornographic content? Let's take a look at this detailed report.
Safe Culture, Save Bharat, an NGO, has filed a complaint with the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting.
After painstaking investigation, we have found that Netflix is dishing out pornography. We have sent a letter to Secretary INB today, and let us see we have asked for a ban.
Supreme Court advocate Vishnu Shankar informed Republic that the content promoted on OTT platforms were in strict violation of various legal provisions.
It's an offence under section 292, 293, 294 of the IPC, read with section 11 subclause 3 of the POSCO Act. So this is an offence under Indian law, and it cannot be floated so far as X is concerned and so far as Netflix is concerned. So for that we have made our request and complaint.
Shankar has further eliminated on the issue by saying that such content poses severe risks to youth safety. The NGO has also raised concerns over the content being in violation of the POXO Act and have demanded for a national content control panel. Republic TV has also sent out an email to Netflix India asking for more information on what legal mechanisms the platform follows. The Netflix India team replied stating that they would file an official response in 24 to 48 hours. As we await a response from Netflix, the big question lives on. Are OTT platforms going to be regulated anytime soon? If not, how do we regulate this recipe for disaster?
Now, in a significant development, the police has arrested terror aid yesterday for his alleged involvement in the June 9 attack on a bus that carried pilgrims in J&K's Reasi district. So, Shivangi, definitely a big breakthrough when it comes to the forces who are going all out to avenge the terror attack in Reasi.
Yes, and the attack resulted in the death of 9 people, including 7 pilgrims from Rajasthan, UP and Delhi, and left 41 others injured. The senior superintendent of police of Reasi, Mohita Sharma, identified the arrested terror aid as Hakimdeen. She stated that Din was involved in harboring the terrorist multiple times, along with providing food and shelter. Din also acted as a guide and helped the terrorists reach the site of the attack. Here's a reaction coming in, and then we'll go to our reporter on the ground.
Yeah, a major breakthrough has been achieved today where a militant associate, a terrorist associate, has been arrested in the case. His name is Hakimdeen. He is a resident of Bandrai, which falls in district Rajouri. He was providing those militants food, shelter, and was working as a guide to those militants, to which he has confessed. As per his initial interrogation, he is telling about 3 different incidents where those militants came to his place, took shelter and food, and on one day prior to the incident, he was tasked with taking them cross country to the place of incident. He was present there while the incident was happening, and later on he has not divulged it completely, but what we feel is that he actually helped them cross from the place of incident via the forest to the other side. We are still working on it, and he received a sum of around 6,000 rupees from those militants.
Let's go to Arawat joining us live from Baramulla. Arawat, terror aid has now been arrested by the police. We have seen many cases wherever there is a terrorist attack, somehow a connection is made to an aide in the area who helps these terrorists carry out such terrible, terrible attacks. What do we know about this aide? His name is Hakimdeen, and he has been arrested.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the big win for the security agencies. We have seen recently when we reported from the ground when the attack took place, that time we said that local hand possibility must be in this attack. And yesterday, this is a big win for the security forces that the Hakimdeen, who is from the Rajouri district and arrested with Jammu and Kashmir police in the same district where the attack took place. In fact, we had learned from our sources, an official told Republic that the individual who was involved in this, he has provided the logistic and he helped them to do recce of the same track. After that, this attack took place, and this is the big win for the security forces. And the main culprit who was behind this attack has been caught by the security force, and the investigation is going on. We have also learned from our sources more than 150 individuals have been detained by their different agencies for the questioning. So any time from now, we can expect a big development in this case, that the major one victim who was involved in this accused of who was affiliated with Lashkar-e-Taiba, who has provided logistic and other shelter and food to the terrorist who was involved in the Sherkhur attack. And this is a big win. So we can expect any big development anytime from the now. Yashwangi.
Air conditioning manufacturers in India are experiencing a flux of urgently airlifted components such as compressors, cross-flow fans or motors and PCB circuits.
And to add to that, Shivangi, the surge in demand is fueled by an unyielding heat wave sweeping across the majority of the nation that has resulted in unprecedented sales of air conditioners, as reported by industry experts.
Air conditioning manufacturers in India are witnessing a surge in demand driven by an intense and persistent heat wave affecting much of the country. To meet this heightened demand, companies are airlifting crucial components such as compressors, cross-flow fans or motors, and PCB circuits. Industry sources report that this increased demand has resulted in record sales of air conditioners across the country. To maintain production amid supply challenges, manufacturers are importing components via air freight from global suppliers in countries like China, Taiwan, Thailand, Malaysia, and Japan. Reflecting rising costs of materials such as copper and aluminium, some manufacturers have implemented price increases of 4 to 5%. The surge in air conditioner sales coincides with a significant spike in electricity consumption during peak heat wave conditions. According to officials from the State Load Dispatch Center, on Wednesday afternoon, peak power demand in Delhi reached an all-time high of 8,656 megawatt. This peak demand followed closely behind Tuesday's record of 8,647 megawatt, marking the second highest peak of the summer season. As the heat wave persists, both the demand for air conditioners and electricity consumption are expected to remain elevated, challenging supply chains and energy infrastructure alike.
And in news from the world of entertainment, Naomi Campbell celebrated her glittering 40-year career by showcasing outfits from her personal collection. She's not the first supermodel to have her own fashion exhibition honoring designers like Westwood, Versace and Alexander McQueen Shivangi.
That's right. The exhibition features many dresses she wore on runways for photo shoots and at special events. Tunisian-born designer Hakimdeen is highlighted in one part of the exhibit. Campbell is also known for supporting emerging fashion talents like Kenneth Ize, Dorisheju Dumi, both of whom have their designs featured in the exhibition. Here's a full report on this story.
After 40 years in Naomi Campbell's career in fashion and style, this marks as a major milestone as she becomes the first supermodel to have her own solo fashion exhibition. Loaned outfits from her private collection are on display at London's Victoria and Albert Museum.
This is the first major exhibition to look at the individual career of a supermodel through fashion, so we're really excited to be opening it. So it looks at the supermodel Naomi Campbell and her 40-year career in the business. So highlights include things like Yves Saint Laurent dress from 1987 made of white fluffy bird of paradise feathers, the incredible mock croc blue Vivienne Westwood shoes that she famously tumbled on in the catwalk in 1993, and then also kind of fashion photography will be throughout the show, and an installation curated by Edward Endenful.
Campbell's connection with big names like Westwood, Gianni Versace and Alexander McQueen are also commemorated in this exhibition.
So there's a specific section in the exhibition looking at Hakimdeen Alaya, who was a Paris-based Tunisian-born designer, and he's of huge importance to Naomi. So she met him in 1986 when she was in Paris, and they fostered a really wonderful personal and professional relationship. His clothes, there's so many of them in her wardrobe, so many of those are on display, including a wonderful leopard bodysuit, which was famously photographed by Herb Ritts in 1991.
The exhibition features a unique leopard print bodysuit she wore for a shoot with Herb Ritts in 1991. There are also displays of fashion talents of Kenneth Ize and Dorisheju Dumi. A display of her wearing Dolce & Gabbana gown and stiletto sandals is included.
It's been wonderful. Naomi's been around this week kind of looking at the exhibition, and it's been great to see her kind of look around, reflect on her career, and every time we look at another garment there's another story which comes out about how she wore it or the design or how it was styled, which has been really great.
What is also on display are the two outfits where the Streatham-born supermodel brought her trademark style to less than stylish moments.
Viewers, we are live and breaking, and we are getting you all the top updates in this morning edition. Much more coming up. Autopsies revealing a chilling detail of Renuka Swami's murder case. He was beaten till his entire flesh had scraped off, and he died due to a hemorrhage.
Shocking case emerged from finger in ice cream to mouse in chocolate syrup. Customers' safety put at stake.
Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah stated that his organization possesses new weaponry and enhanced intelligence capabilities. This was said to indicate that the Hezbollah can now target strategic positions deeper within Israel in the event of a broader regional conflict.
Now, this remark clearly a threat comes amid escalating tensions in the long-standing cross-border conflict between Hezbollah and Israeli forces, with recent diplomatic efforts also being made, which are aimed at de-escalation by a senior U.S. envoy meeting Lebanese officials just a day before.
Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah claimed that the group has enhanced its weapon and intelligence capabilities, potentially targeting deeper into Israel in a regional war.
نحن طبعا قاتلنا بجزء من سلاحنا حتى الآن. حصلنا على أسلحة جديدة.
Tensions between Hezbollah and Israel are escalating amid ongoing cross-border conflict and diplomatic efforts to ease the tensions.
لكن عليه الآن أن ينتظرنا برا وجوا وبحرا. وأيضا قلنا في السابق ونعيد اليوم: إذا فرضت الحرب على لبنان فإن المقاومة ستقاتل بلا ضوابط وبلا قواعد وبلا أسقف.
Hezbollah recently utilized homemade drones and surface-to-air missiles against Israeli targets, signaling increased military capabilities.
وقف النار في جبهة لبنان، وقف النار في جبهة اليمن، وقف النار في جبهة العراق سبيلها وحيد أوحد لا آخر له، وهو وقف الحرب والعدوان على غزة وعلى أهلنا في غزة.
Nasrallah suggested Hezbollah's fighter count has grown significantly, though specifics were not disclosed. A video reportedly filmed by a Hezbollah drone showcased parts of Haifa, suggesting capabilities to reach deep into Israel. Israeli military chief Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi acknowledged Hezbollah's demonstrated capabilities and asserted Israel's readiness. Hezbollah has intensified attacks on northern Israel, aiming to divert Israeli attention from Gaza. The conflict intensified after Israel's expanded offensive in Gaza and the killing of a senior Hezbollah commander. Nasrallah linked the Lebanon-Israel border conflict to broader regional tensions involving Yemen and Iraqi militias, calling for a Gaza ceasefire.
We now bring to you a developing story from outskirts of Athens, where scores of firefighters supported by water-bombing aircraft are battling a large and dangerous wildfire.
Well, situation is dangerous, Shivangi. The fire, which has been fueled by strong winds and soaring summer temperatures, has even prompted authorities to issue evacuation orders for 2 settlements at that very location.
Scores of firefighters and water-bombing aircraft are battling a large wildfire on the fringes of Athens. Strong winds and scorching summer temperatures have made the situation even more challenging. Authorities have issued evacuation orders for 2 nearby settlements as flames continue to course through the dry vegetation. Water-bombing aircraft are a crucial part of the firefighting efforts, targeting the heart of the fire to prevent further spread. Despite the harsh conditions, no injuries have been reported so far.
Χρειάζεται πολύ προσοχή. Πρέπει να φέρουμε βολτόζες να καθαρίσουν γύρω-γύρω, να μην κινδυνεύουμε, γιατί υπάρχει μεγάλος κίνδυνος για να χάσουμε τις ζωές μας και τα σπίτια μας.
The blaze has already caused significant damage, burning yachts, small boats, cars, and charred buildings. Officials suspect arson as the cause of the fire. Investigators have visual evidence, and a can of petrol was found near the origin of the blaze. Dozens of wildfires have broken out in Greece in recent days, but most were extinguished before causing extensive damage. Authorities warn of particularly high risk of fire this summer, following a dry, warm winter that has left vegetation tinder dry. For now, residents are urged to stay vigilant and follow evacuation orders promptly to ensure the safety.
All right, let's move on to news from Spain, where King Philip VI commemorated a decade on the throne. He celebrated it with his queen and both the princesses, heir to the throne, with a military parade and an unwavering support for the people. From the people, the king has assured his commitment to the nation. Shivangi.
The celebration honored not only his decade-long reign, but also dedication to the nation's constitutional values. From honoring the citizens with medals to spectacular flypasts, celebration was a big event in the city of Madrid. Here's a quick report on the momentous event.
King Felipe VI celebrated a decade on the throne of Spain with a gala event along with the people of Madrid.
Y hace 10 años fui proclamado rey ante las Cortes Generales tras prestar el juramento previsto en nuestra Constitución. Aquel 19 de junio de 2014, compartí con todos los españoles mi compromiso firme de total entrega a España, fundamentado.
King Felipe further expressed his gratitude towards the people while also ensuring unwavering dedication to the Constitution.
A la Constitución y a sus valores me he ceñido y me ceñiré siempre en el cumplimiento de mis responsabilidades. Son guía para el ejercicio de mis funciones. Fue y es el compromiso de un rey constitucional que trasciende la exigencia del deber. Lo es también en el plano personal y moral, como expresión profunda de mi respeto y lealtad al pueblo español al que me debo.
King Felipe was joined by Queen Letizia, Princess Leonor, the heir to the throne, and Princess Sofia. Followed by the king addressing the people, the military parade started with a spectacular flypast and continued with a march by the soldiers. The big event that celebrated the 10 years reigning milestone comprised of a military parade and a medal ceremony for the people.
Opal Lee, the 97-year-old Texan, renowned for her advocacy to establish the Juneteenth as a national holiday, has finished a traditional 2.5-mile walk on Wednesday. The walk symbolizes the 2.5 years it took for enslaved people in Texas to learn of their freedom.
Well, that's right, Shivangi. And over the time, Lee has earned the nickname Grandmother of Juneteenth for her persistent efforts in mobilizing support, ultimately leading to the successful designation of June 19 as national holiday.
Opal Lee, the 97-year-old Texan, completed her annual 2.5-mile walk to commemorate the 2.5 years it took for enslaved people in Texas to learn of their freedom. Hundreds joined Lee in the walk from African American Museum of Dallas, marking a significant show of support.
I'm delighted, I really am, that so many of you are celebrating freedom. And I don't mean freedom in Texas and freedom for black people. I mean freedom for all of us. And we aren't free yet. There are too many homeless people, too many jobless people, too many people who can't get health insurance. And we are responsible for climate change that if we don't do something about climate change, we all going to hell in a handbasket.
She urged individuals to take action by becoming ambassadors of change, encouraging them to influence others' perspectives over time.
I want you to make yourself a committee of one to change somebody's mind. You know people who aren't on the same page you on, change their minds. Not going to happen in a day, you're going to have to work at it. But if people have been taught to hate, they can be taught to love. And it's your responsibility.
Lee highlighted the need for persistent efforts, recognizing that transforming ingrained beliefs requires dedication and patience. Despite the progress made, Lee acknowledged that the true freedom for all remains an ongoing aspiration. Known as the Grandmother of Juneteenth, Lee's advocacy efforts spanned years, culminating in the establishment of June 19th as a national holiday. Beyond her activism, Lee has made a lasting impact in her hometown through educational and community initiatives.
And Shivangi, you know, as we speak, one of the top concerning news that's coming in from across the globe, this one from Mecca, where we understand that 550 pilgrims have lost their lives while they went on this Hajj. So very concerning indeed that 550 lives have been lost, and of those 550 people, many are said to be Indians.
Right. Well, this and much more coming up in the next segment. We get you up to date with all the international stories. Here is our international wrap. Moderate Iranian presidential candidate Masoud Pezeshkian held his first campaign yet in the capital city of Tehran. Pezeshkian is a surgeon and a member of the parliament. Is backed by the country's reformists and moderates, including former Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif. Zarif, who attended Wednesday's rally, negotiated a historic nuclear deal with world powers in 2015, which fell apart after the US President Donald Trump withdrew from 2019.
Louisiana has mandated the display of 10 commandments in all public school classrooms under a new law that's been signed by Republican Governor Jeff Landry. The measure, which requires large readable posters, is facing constitutional challenges from opponents, while supporters claim its historical significance as well. Note this, while opponents question the law's constitutionality and vowed to challenge it in courts, proponents said that the same measure is not solely religious, but that it has historical significance as well.
Yemen's Houthi rebels released a video purporting to show the attack, which sank a Greek-owned transport ship in the Red Sea. The video shows 2 large explosions on a bulk carrier at sea. The Liberian flag Tudor vessel sank days after being attacked. The British military, United Kingdom's Maritime Trade Operations Centre confirmed the sinking of the Tudor marks what appears to be a new escalation by Iranian-backed Houthis in the campaign of attack on the ships in the vital maritime corridor.
A defense exhibition in the Russian port city of Kronstadt opened with a military flyover and sailors marching in formation as exhibitors gathered to showcase the latest in naval weapons and technology. International guests, which even included military officials from other countries, pursued the exhibits and received information about different equipment, which included models for ships and small aircraft.
The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filipino Grandi, has urged all nations to do everything possible to stop conflict in Sudan during a visit to the war-torn country. Grandi visited refugee camps and displacement centers in Kosti in Sudan's White Nile state, where over 1 million people have sought shelter since the fighting started. Grandi said that in the wake of the conflict, many civilians were trapped in conflict flashpoints, unable to flee for safety elsewhere.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Cyril Ramaphosa was sworn in for second term as South Africa's president in a ceremony that was held in the administrative capital. Ramaphosa, note, is now preparing to appoint a cabinet in this new coalition government, which is the first of its kind, when no single party in South Africa holds majority. The oath of office was administered to Ramaphosa in a public ceremony at the Union Buildings, the seat of government, by Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. Leaders including President Felix of the Democratic Republic of Congo, President Nangola of Namibia, and former South African President were among those present at the ceremony.
I, Matamera Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa, so help me God. The voters of South Africa did not give any single political party the full mandate to govern our country alone. They have directed us to work together to address their plight and realize their aspirations. This is a new tide that heralds progress, transformation, and deep fundamental change. We look to this rising tide with optimism and hope. We must reject every attempt to divide or distract us, to sow doubt and cynicism, or to turn us against one another. Those who seek to stand in our way, those who seek to inflame tensions in our country, will not succeed.
The autopsy reveals chilling details of Renuka murder. He was beaten till his flesh had scraped off. He died due to a hemorrhage.
Also, after a very short break, shocking cases emerged from finger in ice cream to mouse in chocolate syrup. Customers' safety put up at stake. Welcome back onto our sports segment then. The Copa America 2024 is about to kick off with the opening match that will take place between Argentina and the tournament newcomer Canada at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, United States. Note that Lionel Messi will lead Argentina team for 48th edition of the South American Championship that is set to begin.
As the 48th Copa America tournament is all set to kick off, Atlanta is putting on all the final touches to prepare for hosting the opening game. This year, Canada will make their debut in the tournament and will compete against Argentina first tomorrow.
Argentina is the best team in the world, and us playing this game against them is going to be a battle. You're playing against a team with a high quality, a lot of quality and a lot of organization. I think we prepared well for this game, and our mindset is strong. We're going out there playing against the World Cup champions, and that's motivation for us, and obviously just to win this game and try to move on.
The teams are in their final leg of preparations to defeat their opponents. Canada's national team manager Jesse Marsh hopes for the best for his team.
I think Argentina will have learned from the mistake they made in Qatar against Saudi Arabia, and we are expecting nothing but the absolute best from their team. So we'd be foolish to not prepare that way, I think.
Meanwhile, Lionel Messi and Argentina held a rigorous practice session ahead of their opener against Canada. Argentina's manager Lionel Scaloni discussed the challenge of facing a national team. Listen in.
Bueno, la dificultad está en enfrentar una selección de fútbol. Cuando enfrentas a una selección, quiere decir que están los mejores de un país. Y más allá de que no hayamos jugado nunca, o creo que hemos jugado muy poco en la historia, es una selección y la dificultad es máxima, es el inicio de un torneo, así que ya sabemos que es difícil, así que tenemos que estar preparados sabiendo que nos pueden poner en dificultad.
Furthermore, the Mexican national team has already arrived in Houston to start participating in the tournament. Fans gathered on the streets to catch a glimpse of the players upon their arrival. The Brazilian national football team arrived in Florida ahead of the tournament. All eyes are on the first match of the tournament, Argentina versus Canada.
Let's give some more sports updates coming in. Alexander Zverev seeded second and the crowd favorite progressed to the quarterfinals of the Halle Championship on Wednesday despite a competitive match against Italy's Lorenzo Sonego. Zverev clinched victory in the straight sets. He narrowly secured the first set 6-4 and faced a tie break in the second where his powerful ground strokes secured a 7-5 win. His next opponent will be Frenchman Arthur Fils.
South Africa faced a tough challenge to secure an 18-run victory over the US in the opening match of the Super 8's phase of the T20 World Cup in Antigua on Wednesday. Andreas Gauss, playing against his country of birth, led the US with an unbeaten 80 of 47 balls, moving to the top of the batting charts. However, South Africa managed to restrict the Americans to 176 for 6. Pace bowler Kagiso Rabada claimed figures of 318, while spinner Keshav Maharaj took the crucial wicket of the US captain Aaron Jones for a duck, ending with 124. Quinton D. Knock starred earlier with a magnificent 74 of 40 balls that was supported by Hendricks' unbeaten 36 of 22 balls. South Africa had struggled in the power play throughout the tournament, managing a high score of 38 runs in their first 6 overs against Nepal.
Denmark needs a win ahead of their matches against England and Serbia in Group C. They renewed their rivalry with England, recalling their Euro semi-final clash in 2020, where England won 2-1 after extra time. Harry Kane scored the decisive goal after his penalty was saved, but rebounded to him, or to Kasper Schmeichel. The controversial penalty awarded against Hakim was a key moment in that game. The teams are familiar with each other, having players from Manchester United, Crystal Palace and Brentford on both sides.
And back home, news that came in from down south, another fatal murder has shocked the nation as Rajya Sabha MP's daughter Madhuri was arrested for allegedly running a car over 24-year-old man. The deceased, named Surya, was sleeping. In fact, this is the victim, 24-year-old, who's been identified as Surya. He was sleeping on a pavement when he was brutally killed by the vehicle.
While Surya lost his life in the accident, his family and dear ones demand justice. They have further raised allegations against the accused for drunk driving and tampering with crucial evidence. Let's take a look at the exclusive updates in this story.
In a shocking incident from Chennai, daughter of Rajya Sabha MP Madhuri was arrested after her car fatally rammed over 24-year-old Surya. The accident occurred in Chennai's Besant Nagar area.
At the Tiger Veradachari First Cross Street, where on Monday at around 2:30 and 3, between 2:30 and 3, the accident happened, and this is the very spot where Surya, 22-year-old Surya painter, lost his life. Now, what has been clarified by police is that the vehicle came all the way from there, the BMW. Just want to pan over here. And as the vehicle came and it turned towards the left to go to the house over here, Surya was lying down over here, is what is being stated, what is being alleged.
According to police reports, Surya was asleep on the pavement when he was run over by Madhuri's car. Madhuri was promptly arrested but later released on station bail.
On one hand, the family of Surya has accused that the driver of the vehicle, that is Pida Madhuri, was drunk, and they've also accused they've tampered with the CCTV evidence. The police station, which comes under the J5 police station of Shastri Nagar, has denied all these claims. What they have essentially stated is that the police have gone by the records and this is merely an accidental case.
Meanwhile, Surya's family has made some serious claims. They claim that Madhuri was under the influence of alcohol at the time of the accident.
Sir, எங்க வீட்டுக்கு வந்து ஓரமா தான் சார் படுத்திருந்தாரு. அந்த பொம்பளை வந்து வேகமாக வண்டி ஓட்டி வந்து சார் டேனிங் அவன் என்ன ட்ரிங்க்ஸ் பண்ணியிருந்தாரு, 2 பேருமே ட்ரிங்க்ஸ் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க, அதனால் வேகமாக ஓட்டினாங்க. அது சின்ன சந்து தான், ஆனால் அவ்வளோ ஸ்லோவாக வந்ததுக்கலாம். அவன் அவ்வளோ வேகமாக வந்தா சார், வந்து கார் ஏற்றினா சார். நான் கேட்டேன், என்னம்மா இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணி வச்சுருக்கீங்களே அப்படின்னதுக்கு, உங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு குடிச்சிட்டு ரோட்டில் பார்த்தா நாங்கள் என்ன பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு கேட்டா.
Moreover, they alleged that a pharmacy's CCTV, which could have captured the incident, was forcibly destroyed. Following Surya's funeral, his family and friends demanded justice. Will the family get the justice they deserve, or will the accused evade the law once again? Only time can tell.
Well, viewers, coming up next, we will get you all the details because the UGC-NET, not NEET, but the UGC-NET stands cancelled due to irregularities. The date yet to be announced of the examinations. More deliberations will take place in terms of the NEET examination. Students in this country currently up in the furor. We'll get you more details on and the updates on the other side. Stay tuned with us. We take a short break.
Viewers, the Ministry of Education has cancelled the UGC-NET June examination following indications that the integrity of the exam was compromised. A new date for the examination will be announced later. The decision aims to ensure the highest level of transparency and sanctity in the examination process. The National Testing Agency conducted the exam on June 18th in pen and paper mode across different cities.
Well, very shocking indeed, Shivangi. However, note it was on 19th of June, the University Granted Commission received inputs from the National Cybercrime Threat Analytics Unit of the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center under the Ministry of Home Affairs. These inputs suggested that the exam's integrity might have been compromised. In fact, in response, the Ministry of Education has now decided to cancel the exam altogether and conduct a fresh one. The matter has also now been handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation for a thorough probe. Let's go across to Riyanka. She's joining us with the latest on that. Riyanka, very shocking state of affairs to begin with. Take us through all that has happened when it comes to the NET UGC exam, which is conducted every year in the month of June and December. What is next for those students who appeared for the NET exam this year?
Right, the UGC-NET examinations is in fact conducted by the NTA, and the NTA we know conducts the NEET examinations as well. Now, to clear the air for our viewers, this is not the cancellation for the NEET examinations but for the UGC-NET examinations that have been cancelled. Well, the examinations were held on the 18th of June. And they stand cancelled as to why. See, what happened was there were, analysis and data received by the center from the Cybercrime Threat Analytics Unit, which said that the integrity of the examinations was manipulated. There were irregularities that were found, which is why the center decided to call off the examinations on the 19th itself. Now, a fresh date will be announced for the UGC-NET examinations. That date will be given out to all the students. And when it comes to the manipulation and the irregularities in the UGC-NET examinations, the probe has been handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation, and they have been asked to thoroughly see what has gone wrong. Now, on the other hand, this all is coming at a time when the entire nation, the students in the nation, are upset regarding the NEET exams, because we saw that there were irregularities also found in the NEET examinations, to which the center has said that the grace mark situation has been handled. When it comes to the paper leak that took place in Patna, that is being taken, quick measures have been taken regarding that. A probe is underway. On the other hand, we see that there will be protests by the SFI and the JNUSU regarding the cancellation of UGC-NET today at the Ministry of Education, Shastri Bhavan, nearly at around 2 p.m. So these are the details that are coming in. The NET examinations were held in a pen and paper mode, that is the OMR sheet mode, which is when these irregularities were found, and which is why the center has called off these examinations. But the future of the students lie hanging, because they once again have to go ahead and give these exams. We have to wait and see what happens. The big question right now is whether the NTA will in fact go ahead and cancel the NEET exams also. That is the question the students are constantly raising, because the medical students want re-NEET to be conducted.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Priyanka, with all the details coming in. We'll keep a very close eye on the story and keep us updated with all the news updates. Let's move ahead right now to the other story we are tracking. We're getting you back-to-back breaking developments coming in the Renika Swamy murder case. Fresh leads have emerged as Darshan and his gang are set to be produced before the court this afternoon.
Yes, and to add to that, Shivangi, all 13 accused in this case will be presented before the magistrate court as the police custody ends today. Note that the police is seeking custody only for those who are further needed for spot inquest and interrogation to happen of all the accused.
Hair strands from all the accused have been collected at Victoria Hospital and will undergo DNA testing. A total of 118 pieces of circumstantial evidence have been seized from inquests conducted across 28 locations connected to the case.
And to add to that, technical evidence has now been sent to the cyber cell for further analysis in this case, while DNA material has also been dispatched to the forensic science lab to establish and confirm the identities. We have Prajwal who's joining us, getting us those back-to-back leads. Prajwal, break it down for us. These are shocking details, to say the least, the gory details that have come to light. Break it down for us, part by part, on what we know in the latest.
At this point of time, Samiksha, we get to understand that as the police custody of all the 13 ends today, they will be produced before the magistrate court post 3:30 in the afternoon as well. And once they are produced in all likelihood, it is being understood that only the accused who are needed for the spot inquest, crime recreation and interrogation will be taken into police custody, and the special public prosecutor will be seeking custody of only them, and the majority of them will be sent to the judicial custody. Now, already 4 of them have been sent to the judicial custody out of the total 17, and today the 13 will also be produced before the magistrate too. So we need to see that. And meanwhile, there is also been technical as well as forensic material which has been taken in, and therefore the cyber cell and the forensic science lab team is also working together, coordinating together to make sure that they go ahead and assist the cops to bring this particular case to a logical logical conclusion. So therefore, hair strands were also collected of all the 13 accused concerning this particular case, and they will be matched with the hair samples that had been collected from the murder spot as well as from the back seat of a car which was found on the mat of it too. So they will try to see whether there is any sort of potential ID match as well, so that they can link it to the accused directly who were involved in disposing of the body. Secondly, we are also speaking about the technical evidence over here, which is mainly the CCTV footages as well as the call detail recordings too, which could go ahead and establish the fact that the accused were present in the spot of the murder at the time when it was committed too. So this would definitely go ahead and strengthen the case and could go ahead and bring it to a logical conclusion.
Yes, Prajwal, stay with us. We have another lead that you're getting us. Let's put that on our screens as well. It's yet another development only on Republic. Cops are now focusing on the murdered spot. When Rajeshwari Nagar area, the police has recorded the statement of Jaina, the owner of the plot, where the shed was built. Note that Renuka Swami was brutally assaulted, tortured and then murdered in this very shed. So this is the Rajeshwari Nagar, the spot that the police is going to be focusing on, as we understand that Renuka Swami was brutally tortured, assaulted and murdered in this very shed. Shivangi.
The police have gone ahead and the police have also seized a lot of DVRs and CCTV footage from the location. Out of the 7 CCTV footage covered the shed, only 2 were functional while 5 were not working. We're going back to Prajwal right now on this story. Prajwal, I'm coming across to you. Prajwal, take us to the latest details coming in. The CCTV footage is definitely very crucial when it comes to cracking this case.
Absolutely, Shivangi, because this will go ahead and prove that who were the accused who were present during the time of the crime and what was the timings that they were present in, and when was the entry and exit of it as well, because that will have to be recorded even in the remand copy as well as later in the charge sheet which will be submitted in front of the court to prove that these accused were involved in the murder of Renuka Swami. And also out of the 7 CCTVs that was present in the shed, it is being understood that only 2 were functional. So the DVR has also been taken in and it has been seized, and the cops are going through the entire CCTV footage, and the special public prosecutor will be presenting the contents of it verbally to in front of the magistrate today, and in all likelihood there will also be statements of the accused which will be recorded under CRPC section 164 in front of the magistrate. Not only that, very important is the fact that the statement of the owner Pattangere Jayanna was taken here at the police station too, because he was the one who had gone ahead and rented this particular spot where the shed was built and the murder had taken place there. And he was also asked about how he knew about how did he know the owner of this particular shed who had built it, and when was the rent deed signed and given to him. So all of this is also being taken into consideration, and the cops are still going ahead and querying him.
All right, Prajwal, thank you for the moment. We will keep coming back to you. So these are back-to-back leads coming in the Renuka Swami murder case. But let's shift focus to the other big story that came yesterday, Shivangi. It's indeed a big MSP boost for the farmers across the country, as the government has now raised the minimum support price for paddy by 5.35%, increasing it by 117 to 2,300 per quintal for this financial year and this Kharif marketing season. Now, note, despite having surplus rice stocks, this hike is striking as it comes just ahead of elections in the states like Haryana, Maharashtra, Jharkhand and even the national capital. Information and Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has notified on the same that the cabinet approved the MSP for 14 Kharif crops based on recommendations that were made by the Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices. Shivangi.
That is right. The MSP for common grade paddy has been raised to rupees 2,300 per quintal, while A-grade variety has been increased. That is right. Now, the A-grade variety has been increased to rupees 2,320 in the upcoming Kharif season. Decision marks the first cabinet decision in the Prime Minister Modi's 3rd term in office. I'm going to go across to Gopi, who's joining us live. Gopi, cabinet has approving the increase in MSP for 14 Kharif crops for this season. Take us through the big details coming in. And this is very important, as this is in line with the Prime Minister's vision to support the farmers.
Well, indeed, as rightly mentioned, Shivangi, when you talk about the MSP, this was first included in the MS Swaminathan 2006 report, post which in the Lok Sabha elections of 2014, PM Modi had promised 1.5% of a rise in total cost of production. So this was what he had promised, and he in fact has delivered it today. In 2018, the clear policies decision was taken that yes, there will be a rise in 1.5% in the total cost of production. While talking about the MSP, farmers across the nation have been demanding this since so long that they were on streets previously this year as well. And we are sure that farmers would be giving positive reaction to this particular change which would be coming. In fact, when you talk about the third tenure, beginning of third tenure, it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first document that he had signed. He had signed on the 17th installment of PM Awas Yojana. So this shows his inclination towards the betterment of farmers. While we will just wait for the day to proceed, and we will see what kind of reactions we are getting from the farmers union. While this is definitely going to benefit farmers at large, where they are going to earn over 35,000 crore more to what they were earning. And yes, there will be surety of their excess crops, which would be bought by the government at the minimum support price. Back to you.
And Gopi, this interestingly comes as part of Prime Minister's 100-day action plan, Shivangi. In fact, let's once again listen into that statement that came in from Ashwani Vaishnav making that big MSP announcement.
In today's cabinet also, one very important decision has been taken regarding the welfare of farmers. खरीफ सीजन स्टार्ट हो रहा है. खरीफ सीजन के लिए 14 क्रॉप्स पे मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस आज कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव किया है. मैं इन प्राइसेस के बारे में पढ़ूंगा, उससे पहले आई विल गिव द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. इन द 2018 यूनियन बजट, the government of India had given a very clear policy decision, had taken a very clear policy decision that MSP कम से कम 1.5 गुना होनी ही चाहिए कॉस्ट की. It has to be at least 1.5 times the cost of production. तो आज के जो फैसले आप देखेंगे, इन सब फैसलों में इस प्रिंसिपल को ध्यान रखा गया है. Every crop that I am going to read out will have at least 50% more MSP compared to the cost. और कॉस्ट को निकालने का भी बहुत ही साइंटिफिक तरीका है. इसका एक मैकेनिज्म है. CACP के द्वारा देश भर में कई तहसीलों में, कई जिलों में, कई विलेजेस में जाके स्टडी किया जाता है. कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन सारे के सारे फैक्टर्स को लेके स्टडी किया जाता है. तो इसके आधार पर आज जो MSP डिक्लेयर हुई है वो है धान. सबसे पहले धान का नया MSP, पैडी का नया MSP खरीफ के लिए 2,300 रुपीज डिक्लेयर किया गया है, विच इज 117 रुपीज इंक्रीमेंट ओवर द प्रीवियस MSP. आप इसको 2,300 को अगर आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखना चाहोगे, दैट इज अगर 2013-14 का जो प्राइस था, दैट प्राइस वाज 1,310 रुपीज, 1,310. यानी कहाँ 1,310 था और कहाँ आज 2,300 है. किस तरह से किसान भाइयों के लिए, किसान परिवारों के लिए प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और सरकार का हमेशा एक स्पेशल फोकस रहता है, ये इसको दर्शाता है.
All right, Gopi, we will go across to Gopi again, and we'll also watch out for how the farmers group react to this move. But for now, we move on to the other big story we are tracking. Note that there have been grave allegations that have come to light from some very serious people, including lawyers and even journalists. An NGO called Save Culture, Save Bharat has raised concerns over content on platforms like Netflix and X. They have come up with the opinion that saying that the content emerges as a threat to Indian sensitivities and our overall ethos.
The very platforms that are easily available to young children have also been accused of promoting adult content. Has OTT become a camouflage for promoting pornographic content? Let's take a look at this report for more.
Save Culture, Save Bharat, an NGO, has filed a complaint with the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting.
After painstaking investigation, we have found that Netflix is dishing out pornography. We have sent a letter to Secretary INB today, and let us see we have asked for a ban.
Supreme Court advocate Vishnu Shankar informed Republic that the content promoted on OTT platforms were in strict violation of various legal provisions.
It's an offence under section 292, 293, 294 of the IPC, read with section 11 subclause 3 of the POSCO Act. So this is an offence under Indian law, and it cannot be floated so far as X is concerned and so far as Netflix is concerned. So for that we have made our request and complaint.
Shankar has further eliminated on the issue by saying that such content poses severe risks to youth safety. The NGO has also raised concerns over the content being in violation of the POXO Act and have demanded for a national content control panel. Republic TV has also sent out an email to Netflix India asking for more information on what legal mechanisms the platform follows. The Netflix India team replied stating that they would file an official response in 24 to 48 hours. As we await a response from Netflix, the big question lives on. Are OTT platforms going to be regulated anytime soon? If not, how do we regulate this recipe for disaster?
In a major decision yesterday at the Union Cabinet Ministry, where a crucial meeting was held, the remarkable decision of MSP has been taken at the cabinet meeting. While 14 crops of this Kharif season farmers are going to gain from that the MSP. We will be back with the rolling coverage. Stay tuned with Republic TV.
And viewers, on the other side, we'll also get you all the details of the UGC-NET that stands cancelled, and now the opposition and the students all call for the NTA to cancel the NEET examinations as well and come with re-NEET exams. We will get you more details on the other side. Stay tuned with us on Republic.
And it's a big breakthrough in the Reasi terror attack, as the police has now arrested terror aide for his alleged involvement in the June 9 attack on a bus that carried pilgrims in J&K's Reasi. In fact, note this incident is one of the 4 terror attacks to have happened in the valley in the last few weeks. This has resulted in the deaths of 9 pilgrims who were on way from Reasi to Katra. Let's listen in to the statement that's coming from the police, and then we go across to Aravat.
Yeah, a major breakthrough has been achieved today where a militant associate, a terrorist associate, has been arrested in the case. His name is Hakimdeen. He is a resident of Bandrai, which falls in district Rajouri. He was providing those militants food, shelter, and was working as a guide to those militants, to which he has confessed. As per his initial interrogation, he is telling about 3 different incidents where those militants came to his place, took shelter and food, and on one day prior to the incident, he was tasked with taking them cross-country to the place of incident. He was present there while the incident was happening, and later on
he has not divulged it completely, but what we feel is that he actually helped them cross from the place of incident via the forest to the other side. We are still working on it, and he received a sum of around 6,000 rupees from those militants.
All right, let's go across to Arawat. He's joining us with the details. Arawat, this is, of course, a big breakthrough. Once again, talk to us about what do we know about this terror associate one, and do we know anything so far about those 4 terrorists, the sketches of whose have also been released by the J&K police last week?
Yeah, absolutely, Shamika. This is the big win for the security agencies, that the main accused who was involved in the Reasi terror attack, who was behind this attack, who helped the terrorists to carry this attack. In fact, he was also involved in the racket that was done by these terrorists. In fact, Jammu and Kashmir police has released sketch and reward for these terrorists. In fact, these posters have been circulated on the various social media across and the posters have been established at the many places in the Jammu and Kashmir. So far, there is search going on for these terrorists who are behind this attack. In fact, we had also learned from our sources that more than 150 detained for the questioning related to this case in the Reasi, and we can expect any big lead from any time from now. As we have spoke to the Jammu and Kashmir police official, they have told this was the prime accused who was involved in this attack, who provided the logistics to these terrorists and the food and shelter for the terrorists who carried this attack. In fact, we had also learned from the sources that the terrorists paid 6,000 rupees to Hakimdeen to carry this attack, to do recce, and to guide them to reach the spot where the terrorists attacked the bus driver and other brigades. And so far, this is a big lead for the Jammu and Kashmir security agencies. In fact, the coordinated search operation is still underway in the various locations related to the same case. In fact, Jammu and Kashmir police are trying to get the intelligence-based inputs, and the telecom agencies have been told to provide the intelligence related to these terrorists where they're about. And after that, we have seen yesterday that the police told that Hakimdeen, who is the local resident of the Rajouri, but he has been caught by the security forces in the Reasi district. Reasi is the same district where the attack took place, and this is the big win for the security forces, as we had learned from the sources that many arrests may take place in the coming days. So far, this is the big lead for the security force. Yes, Samiksha.
All right, Arawat, thank you for the moment. So yes, forces going all out to avenge the 4 back-to-back terror attacks. We'll head into a very short break for now, but when we come back, we'll get you the latest that's making news from across the country, the focus being the cancellation of UGC-NET exam. The ministry has announced the cancellation and has ordered CBI inquiry into the same. Also, after a very short break, shocking cases emerged from finger and ice cream to mouse in chocolate syrup. Customers' safety put up at stake.
We are very excited today. It's the coming together of 2 super brands, Republic Media Network and Luminous.
We are standing in what is, without doubt, Asia's largest news complex. This is a vision which has been brought to life with the coming together of Republic and Luminous.
Being true to the voice, true to the issues, true to the content which you put out in the media.
Republic is bringing, the threshold news at cutting-edge technology speed to majority of India.
Yes.
And let's begin with our business segment this hour. The government has initiated a big move, hiking the MSP on crops. We have our business colleague Rajat, who's joining us live right now. Rajat, break it down for us. What does this move entail, and how do you think this is going to benefit the farmers across the country?
So Samiksha, well, yesterday Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved a big boost for the MSPs as far as farmers are concerned for the Kharif crops, and they raised the MSP for the Kharif, 14 Kharif crops ranging from paddy, bajra, jowar, etc. And you know, this was a long-standing, this is coming at a backdrop when government, after taking over, initiated 20,000 crore for the first PM Fasal Kisan Bima Yojana, and after that now they have increased the MSP for 14 Kharif crops. The total outgo for this, the 2 trillion rupees will be given as an MSP to all the farmers as far as Kharif crop is concerned, and this is this MSP allocation is 35,000 crore more than what was allocated last year, and this is hiked for the 14, and the maximum hike is for paddy crop, and this is coming at a time when there are few states which are going for polls later this year. Maharashtra, Haryana and Jharkhand are some of the states, and also we know that in the beginning of the year farmers were protesting for the MSPs. Ashwini Vaishnav yesterday while addressing a press conference also said that this has been the policy, and it was announced in the budget of 2018 that the government wants to give the MSP 1.5 times more than the cost of production. So this is what exactly the government has delivered now. The MSP for 14 Kharif crop has been hiked, and now it's very crucial just ahead of 3 elections that are going to happen later this year, Samiksha.
All right, Rajat, thank you for breaking it down for us. So big relief that's coming in for farmers across the country. The government announcing that big move, hiking the MSP on the Kharif crops. All right, let's move on to news that came in from Russia. President Vladimir Putin has finally concluded his visit to North Korea, where he, along with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, have solidified their country's ties amid rising tensions with the West. Important to add here that this was the first visit by Vladimir Putin in 24 years to North Korea.
Russian President Vladimir Putin was warmly welcomed in Pyongyang, marking his first visit to North Korea in 24 years. The summit, which took place at Pyongyang's main square, saw both leaders participating in a grand ceremony.
Россию и КНДР многие десятилетия связывает прочная дружба и тесное добрососедство.
조선민주인민공화 한국과 러시아는 지난 몇십 년 동안 깊은 친선의 전통을 이어오고 있습니다.
Взаимодействие между нашими странами основано на принципах равноправия, взаимного уважения, интересов друг друга.
The visit included a wreath-laying ceremony at the Liberation Monument, honoring Soviet soldiers from the Second World War. Both leaders then proceeded to sign a comprehensive partnership agreement aimed at mutual assistance in times of aggression.
Подписанный сегодня договор о всеобъемлющем партнерстве предусматривает в том числе оказание взаимной помощи в случае агрессии против одного из участников этого документа.
North Korea's Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un emphasized the strategic depth of the agreement, highlighting that their relations have reached a level of alliance. He expressed full support for Russia's actions in Ukraine, allying their stances against Western sanctions.
조로 사이의 포괄적인 전략적 동반자 관계에 관한 조약이 체결됨으로 하여 우리 두 나라 관계는 정치와 경제, 문화, 군사 등 여러 방면에서의 호상 협력 확대로서 두 나라의 진보와 인민들의 복리 증진을 이룩할 수 있는 보다 훌륭한 전망적 발전 궤도 위에 올라서게 되었습니다.
While the specifics of the arms arrangement remain unclear, the agreement raises concerns among global powers, particularly regarding North Korea's support in supplying munitions for Russia's military operations in Ukraine.
В этой связи Российская Федерация не исключает для себя развитие военно-технического сотрудничества с Корейской Народно-Демократической Республикой в соответствии с подписанным сегодня документом.
The Russian president gifted the Aurus luxury car to Kim, marking the second time the North Korean leader has received this car model from Putin. The meeting was punctuated by a test drive where Putin took the North Korean leader for a spin in the Russian-made Aurus car.
Now, Cyril Ramaphosa was sworn in for second consecutive time as South Africa's president in a ceremony that was held in the administrative capital. Note, this marked the first time in its 30-year rule that a coalition of parties has assisted in the process of government making. In fact, note also that Ramaphosa is now preparing to appoint a cabinet in this new coalition government, which is also going to be the first of its kind, where no single party holds a majority in the country.
For the first time in 30 years of ruling, the ANC has lost its majority. Cyril Ramaphosa was sworn in for his second term as South Africa's president, hailing his broad coalition government as the dawn of a new era.
I, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa, so help me God.
The ceremony took place in the administrative capital of Pretoria. Current and former African heads of state and diplomats were in attendance. Ramaphosa is now set to appoint a cabinet in a new coalition government after his African National Congress party lost its parliamentary majority in last month's election. Ramaphosa is now set to appoint a cabinet in a new coalition government after his African National Congress party lost its parliamentary majority in elections. The ANC will now form a government of national unity in collaboration with other political parties that received votes in the May elections. Major players such as the Democratic Alliance and the Inkatha Freedom Party have already joined the coalition, and others like the Patriotic Alliance, the Good Party, and the Pan-Africanist Congress are widely expected to follow suit. However, the third largest party, led by former President Jacob Zuma, the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, and the leftist Economic Freedom Fighters Party have refused to be part of it. He was re-elected by lawmakers with the support of the main opposition party. Supporters stated that they will now focus on the new government despite ideological differences.
Ideologically, we're not the same. But now, when it comes to governance, governance is governance, service delivery is service delivery. So let's focus on that, go back to our people, because our people need service delivery at the end of the day.
I support the GNU because I think with GNU, if all political parties hold each other's hands, we will go forward, we will see change in our country, because for so many years, ANC have been there alone, but now when they are united, I think there will be change and we will see a brighter future, and our economy, I think it will rise.
With Cyril Ramaphosa sworn in for a second term and a coalition government formed, South Africa enters a new chapter marked by political collaboration and change.
Now, in wake of sweltering heat, air conditioning manufacturers in the country are experiencing an influx of urgently airlifted components such as compressors, cross-flow fans, and even PCB circuits. This surge in demand is fueled by an unyielding heat wave that's sweeping across a majority of the states, resulting in unprecedented sales of air conditioners across the country.
Air conditioning manufacturers in India are witnessing a surge in demand driven by an intense and persistent heat wave affecting much of the country. To meet this heightened demand, companies are airlifting crucial components such as compressors, cross-flow fans or motors, and PCB circuits. Industry sources report that this increased demand has resulted in record sales of air conditioners across the country. To maintain production amid supply challenges, manufacturers are importing components via air freight from global suppliers in countries like China, Taiwan, Thailand, Malaysia, and Japan. Reflecting rising costs of materials such as copper and aluminium, some manufacturers have implemented price increases of 4 to 5%. The surge in air conditioner sales coincides with a significant spike in electricity consumption during peak heat wave conditions. According to officials from the State Load Dispatch Center, on Wednesday afternoon, peak power demand in Delhi reached an all-time high of 8,656 megawatt. This peak demand followed closely behind Tuesday's record of 8,647 megawatt, marking the second highest peak of the summer season. As the heat wave persists, both the demand for air conditioners and electricity consumption are expected to remain elevated, challenging supply chains and energy infrastructure alike.
Now, in the backdrop of raging Israel-Hamas war, Hezbollah leader has stated that his organization possesses new weaponry and enhanced intel capabilities as well. This was in fact said to indicate that Hezbollah can now target strategic positions deeper within Israel in event of a broader regional conflict.
Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah claimed that the group has enhanced its weapon and intelligence capabilities, potentially targeting deeper into Israel in a regional war.
نحن طبعا قاتلنا بجزء من سلاحنا حتى الآن. حصلنا على أسلحة جديدة.
Tensions between Hezbollah and Israel are escalating amid ongoing cross-border conflict and diplomatic efforts to ease the tensions.
لكن عليه الآن أن ينتظرنا برا وجوا وبحرا. وأيضا قلنا في السابق ونعيد اليوم: إذا فرضت الحرب على لبنان فإن المقاومة ستقاتل بلا ضوابط وبلا قواعد وبلا أسقف.
Hezbollah recently utilized homemade drones and surface-to-air missiles against Israeli targets, signaling increased military capabilities.
وقف النار في جبهة لبنان، وقف النار في جبهة اليمن، وقف النار في جبهة العراق سبيلها وحيد أوحد لا آخر له، وهو وقف الحرب والعدوان على غزة وعلى أهلنا في غزة.
Nasrallah suggested Hezbollah's fighter count has grown significantly, though specifics were not disclosed. A video reportedly filmed by a Hezbollah drone showcased parts of Haifa, suggesting capabilities to reach deep into Israel. Israeli military chief Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi acknowledged Hezbollah's demonstrated capabilities and asserted Israel's readiness. Hezbollah has intensified attacks on northern Israel, aiming to divert Israeli attention from Gaza. The conflict intensified after Israel's expanded offensive in Gaza and the killing of a senior Hezbollah commander. Nasrallah linked the Lebanon-Israel border conflict to broader regional tensions involving Yemen and Iraqi militias, calling for a Gaza ceasefire.
And a look at top international stories from across the globe. Moderate Iranian presidential candidate Masoud held his biggest campaign meeting yet in the capital city of Tehran. Peshkian, who is a surgeon and a member of parliament, is backed by the country's reformists and moderates, including former foreign minister who attended Wednesday's rally, negotiated a historic nuclear deal with world leaders in 2015, which fell apart after former US President Donald Trump withdrew from in 2018. Louisiana has mandated the display of 10 commandments in all public school classrooms under a new law that's been signed by Republican governor. The measure, requiring large readable posters, is facing constitutional challenge from opponents, while supporters claim its historical significance. While opponents questioned the law's constitutionality and vowed to challenge it in court, proponents said that the measure is not solely religious but that it has historical significance as well. Yemen's Houthi rebels released a video purportedly that showed their attack, which sank a Greek-owned transport ship in the Red Sea. The video shows two large explosions on a bulk carrier at sea. The Liberia Tutor vessel sank days after being attacked. The UK military's Maritime Trade Operations Centre has also confirmed the same. The sinking of the ship marks what appears to be a new escalation by the Iranian-backed Houthis in the campaign of attacks on ships in the vital maritime corridor. A defense exhibition in the Russian port city of Kronstadt opened with a military flyover and sailors marching in formation as exhibitors gathered to showcase their latest in naval weapons and technology. International guests, including military officials from other countries, received information about different equipments, which included models for ships and small aircraft. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, has urged all nations to do everything possible to stop conflict in Sudan during a visit to the war room. Grandi visited refugee camps and displacement centers in Sudan's White Nile state, where over 1 million people have sought shelter since the fighting began. Grandi said that in wake of the conflict, many civilians were trapped in conflict flashpoints, unable to flee or for safety elsewhere. And in news that's coming in from Greece, this is from the outskirts of Athens, where scores of firefighters have been supported by water-bombing aircraft. They are now battling a large and dangerous wildfire. In fact, details coming in that the fire has been fueled by strong winds and soaring summer temperatures, which has in fact prompted authorities to issue evacuation orders in the region.
Scores of firefighters and water-bombing aircraft are battling a large wildfire on the fringes of Athens. Strong winds and scorching summer temperatures have made the situation even more challenging. Authorities have issued evacuation orders for 2 nearby settlements as flames continue to course through the dry vegetation. Water-bombing aircraft are a crucial part of the firefighting efforts, targeting the heart of the fire to prevent further spread. Despite the harsh conditions, no injuries have been reported so far.
Χρειάζεται πολύ προσοχή. Πρέπει να φέρουμε μπουλντόζες να καθαρίσουν γύρω-γύρω, να μην κινδυνεύουμε, γιατί υπάρχει μεγάλος κίνδυνος για να χάσουμε τις ζωές μας και τα σπίτια μας.
The blaze has already caused significant damage, burning yachts, small boats, cars, and charred buildings. Officials suspect arson as the cause of the fire. Investigators have visual evidence, and a can of petrol was found near the origin of the blaze. Dozens of wildfires have broken out in Greece in recent days, but most were extinguished before causing extensive damage. Authorities warn of particularly high risk of fire this summer, following a dry, warm winter that has left vegetation tinder dry. For now, residents are urged to stay vigilant and follow evacuation orders promptly to ensure the safety.
We head into a very short break, but when we come back, lots lined up for you, getting details of the chilling murder of Renuka Swamy, who was beaten till his flesh scraped off and he died due to hemorrhage. Shocking case emerges from finger in ice cream to mouths in chocolate syrup. Customers' safety put up at stake. And in news from the world of sports, Naomi Campbell celebrated her glittering 40-year career by showcasing outfits from a personal collection. She's in fact the first supermodel to have her own fashion exhibition, getting you this story from our entertainment section.
After 40 years in Naomi Campbell's career in fashion and style, this marks as a major milestone as she becomes the first supermodel to have her own solo fashion exhibition. Loaned outfits from her private collection are on display at London's Victoria and Albert Museum.
This is the first major exhibition to look at the individual career of a supermodel through fashion, so we're really excited to be opening it. So it looks at the supermodel Naomi Campbell and her 40-year career in the business. So highlights include things like Yves Saint Laurent dress from 1987, made of white fluffy bird of paradise feathers. the incredible mock croc blue Vivienne Westwood shoes that she famously tumbled on in the catwalk in 1993. And then also kind of fashion photography will be throughout the show, and an installation curated by Edward Endenfall.
Campbell's connection with big names like Westwood, Gianni Versace and Alexander McQueen are also commemorated in this exhibition.
So there's a specific section in the exhibition looking at Azzedine Alaïa, who was a Paris-based Tunisian-born designer, and he's of huge importance to Naomi. So she met him in 1986 when she was in Paris, and they fostered a really wonderful personal and professional relationship. His clothes, there's so many of them in her wardrobe, so many of those are on display, including a wonderful leopard bodysuit, which was famously photographed by Herb Ritts in 1991.
The exhibition features a unique leopard print bodysuit she wore for a shoot with Herb Ritts in 1991. There are also displays of fashion talents of Kenneth Easy and Doreşeju Dumi. A display of her wearing Dolce & Gabbana gown and stiletto sandals is included.
It's been wonderful. Naomi's been around this week kind of looking at the exhibition, and it's been great to see her kind of look around, reflect on her career, and every time we look at another garment there's another story which comes out about how she wore it or the design or how it was styled, which has been really great.
What is also on display are the two outfits where the Streatham-born supermodel brought her trademark style to less than stylish moments.
Viewers, coming up next, we will get you all the details of what exactly is happening with the NTA, because it has called off the UGC-NET examinations, and now there are protests being raised today at around 2 p.m. The SFI and the JNUSU will be protesting, calling for the NTA to step back and shut down, and also several calls for justice for the students. We will get you all the details on the other side.
In a landmark decision yesterday taken at the Union Cabinet Minister meeting, Team Modi 3.0 has decided to give 50% of MSP over the cost of production at 14 different Kharif crops this season. We will be back with the rolling coverage. Stay tuned with Republic TV.